Okay. Oh.
Good morning. This is a, do I do the call to order?
Do you have the agendas? Bring
Good morning. It's November 19th, 2024, and this is for our Heritage Commission meeting. I'm going to do roll call. Chair Christine Arnold.
Here.
Co-Chair Deidre Murphy.
Here.
Co-Chair Carrie Collins.
Here.
And Helen Hersey.
I think she's on her way.
She said she was coming.
Yeah.
I talked to her yesterday, she said she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of minutes. I haven't seen the minutes.
The minutes are in the agendas, I believe.
I beg your pardon?
The minutes,
They're up.
yeah, October 15th is on the back of the agenda.
Okay.
Oh, I read this.
You already read them?
Good morning.
Here's some.
Hey, good morning.
We're just getting ready to approve the minutes. They're attached in the back of your papers.
Good morning.
I don't see anything that needs correcting. Did you find anything?
Would anyone like to do a motion to approve? Oh, she's,
Yeah,
okay,
we're not
sorry.
Helen to catch up.
Jumped the gun.
Well, usually if there's something, Deirdre catches it. Okay, somebody want to make a, oh, Carrie's still working on it.
No, I'm fine. I looked at it. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented for the October 15th, 2024 Heritage Commission meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. And let's see. Pop-up museum, I don't think we have anything new. Do we have anything new on the pop-up museum?
Not this time.
Okay.
We kind of have our faithful.
Right.
I just would like to go back. I don't think we approved the workshop minutes. I think we just approved the meeting minutes. Or the
Oh.
workshop minutes were the last page.
Okay. We need a separate one for that one?
I believe so. If I would have looked at that agenda, I could have incorporated it, but I didn't. I just want to look at something real quick.
I guess they are separate.
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the Heritage Commission workshop minutes from October 15th, 2024 as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Minutes are approved. Pop-up museum, anybody have anything on that they want to add? Okay.
And the event is Chautauqua event, so we should include that.
The Chautauqua event is, we've got a lot more together with the pop-up museum than we do the Chautauqua event. So-
Right, but they are gonna
Right.
happen at the same time,
Right.
so we'll put it on our agenda.
Put it separately?
It should- Well,
Okay.
not separate, but it should say, Chautauqua event, not just an event. You see what I'm saying? Where it
Okay.
says just event.
So
Yeah,
are they gonna be the same event? Is it the same day, same time?
it's the
Yes.
same day, same
Okay,
time,
okay.
but one is gonna take, I think, probably a different group for getting singers, speakers, all that kind of stuff, so they can just work on that.
Mhm.
And then the museum,
Right.
which is gonna, take its own, I think it would be better to split up in groups on that way.
Yeah, it'll be all hands on deck.
So, but for advertising purposes, are we gonna call it the Chautauqua event, or are we gonna call it the Chautauqua event and the pop-up
No, it's
museum?
Chautauqua.
Okay,
Chautauqua.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And then the museum is kind of the pop-up museum, which we've decided is just gonna be, all of the things that we do have in storage out in the pavilion for the public to see during the Chautauqua event.
Okay.
I think that fulfills the educational portion of Chautauqua.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all a great idea. I just wanted to know, like, just like when we're talking about it, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, whenever we're speaking about it, like, what, was it gonna be two separate things we talked to people about, or was it gonna be like one combined thing that we give one brand name to, that then we?
No, it's gonna be just it's a Chautauqua event, but where the original Chautauqua would last for 3 months, this is just gonna be for 2 days.
Thank God.
It's on the Team Reach app. I've got the date on there. It's the first weekend in March, I believe. Let me look. Let me look.
Yeah, it's the 8th.
The 8th?
So we have got the pavilion from the 7th through the 11th, I believe.
Okay.
And the application I've completed with the city, and it's already gone to Drew, so she has those dates.
Okay. So it's March, so it's one day, March 8th,
No,
it's
2
8th
days.
and 9th.
8th, Sunday, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong.
It's March 20,
Okay, March
25.
8th and 9th. Okay,
Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th.
okay.
But we can set up on the 7th and take down on the 10th and the 11th.
Did you already fill out did we get approved for this already? Because it seemed like we had.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's set in stone then. Okay. All right. And the marker update?
The city of Keystone Heights marker, just so that the audience knows what we're talking about, the marker will be one of those big, large, black state markers that you see on the side of the roads as you're going through anywhere in the United States, basically. And each state has a marker that's black. It looks very similar if you've seen the one over in the nature park for the historic inn. But this would be for the city of Keystone. So when I was working on the Blue Angels marker, I thought, oh, I should find where the city of Keystone Heights marker is. And come to find out, we don't even have one. So we started that process at the Clay County Preservation Board, and then we've taken it back to the Heritage Commission. It is a procedure that you have to go through in order to have this, because it is a state marker. And so because the marker is going to be put onto city property, the city is the owner of the location where the marker will be installed. So we have to have the city sign off on it. Actually, the application has been sent to the city manager along with the verbiage, which has all been approved from Vichy Gary all the way through the county, from Clay County Preservation Board, as well as the Heritage Commission. We are limited to a certain word count for the marker. So you have to imagine condensing an entire 100 years of history into 2,142 words or whatever it is. And that includes characters, spaces, and punctuation. So it is a task at trying to figure that all out. Once you get that, then it has to go to, again, the city to approve it. And actually, Mayor Rodenroth, you're going to have to sign that application. So in August, I went before the city council to get that approved, and the meeting was canceled because we had some storm and we lost all power. Then in September, we had the hurricane. And then in October, which was the last meeting, it was on the agenda. However, they did not put it under an action item. So it was incorrectly stated in the last council meeting. So even though I did go in front of the board and explained everything and all of the procedural steps that are involved, because there are many, there's like 25 steps that you go through to get these markers done. They couldn't vote on it because it wasn't set up for the public notice, I guess, is what I'm thinking. So it is on the agenda for the 25th for the council meeting for this month. So hopefully once that's signed off, then I can package everything up and take it to the next step. Because you can't go onto the master site and apply there until you have all the rest of your ducks in a row with pictures, GPS coordinates, the application, the marker word, verbiage, and all of these other things have to be all presented at the same time in order to move forward to the next step. Once it's received at the state level in Tallahassee, there is a 24-week process. So it's going to take a half a year at least just to, once we have everything. So the idea was to have the marker installed sometime during our centennial. And that's what I'm pushing at the state level. And I have someone on board that I've spoken to that has the authority to help me after many, many, many phone calls that can help me get this, expedited. So that even if it's in November or December of next year, it'll still be in the centennial year, which is what would be ideal. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So we will get that accomplished at the next meeting, which should be next Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The four-county historical roundtable event, that went well, considering it was scheduled to be held in September because none of the other counties had something going on at that particular date, but it was rescheduled. So we didn't have everyone there because they had, for instance, Orange Park had their 100-year celebration and stuff going on. But we did have Melrose, Waldo, Orange Park, Middleburg, and us there. And it went really well.
So all the counties really were accounted for.
Mhm.
I mean, and it was excellent. I learned so much. It was great.
You always do, especially the four, and I think Clay County has it really together. So it's nice to bring everyone else in. I was impressed that Waldo did so much. There's only two of them. And they've got a lot going on.
It was nice that Keystone was able to take that leadership role and bring everyone here. Because again, it focuses our little community on, hey, we're doing a lot, even though we're small.
We'll be doing it again next year, but on the original September date, so that it doesn't conflict and give them plenty of notice. Boo on the Boulevard went real well. And we had our big backdrop this year. I don't think I don't think it needs to be moved because you couldn't get people through any faster than we did. It took time to get them there, get them posed. If we were out on the main boulevard, we'd just be bombarded. People wouldn't want to stand in line. So it kind of keeps them being off the main path. The only thing is next year, we need to request to have Palmetto, this part of Palmetto closed because they were dodging cars. Those cars were coming through there fast and we had children coming across the street. So we need to see if they can shut that portion down.
It's the same
Or
even
just-
with my street. Like, that's just one street over, and there's hundreds of kids over there, and there's cars just flying by, and you're just like, oh my.
Well, they're rerouted from the main street, so they're
Yeah.
just taking the first street over.
Right, it's their cut through.
Mhm.
And you would think they would really be slow, but they're not.
They know there's trick-or-treaters out there.
This is really scary.
So we'll see if we can't get them to do that next year, at least there. Let's see. The Christmas tour of homes.
Oh, wow. There's a lot. Well, since the Heritage Commission does not meet in December, we need to nail down every detail of the tour of homes today, really, because this is our last opportunity to really work through all of the things. And so I've put together, I think there's enough for everyone. Did you give me those other two that you?
I handed them to you.
Okay. Can you pass these down? Did I get you one, Janice? Okay, I think we have enough there. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So with regards to the tour of homes, I wanted to put together what the program would look like in detail. Because even though we might be able to call and talk to each other, because there is nothing here on this program that is, that we're going to be voting on. And so from a sunshine law perspective, if I needed to call Christine and say, hey, did you bring blah, 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 that should not be a problem. So we can discuss things with each other, but the bigger picture, we cannot. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we have all the detail. So the program itself is to start the tour at the pavilion. And ticket holders do not have to begin and end the tour there. That's just our suggestion. Because when they go to the pavilion, they will have, they'll have more information regarding the Heritage Commission, and we will have put together a detailed brochure that I'm going to go through a little bit in a minute, but a detailed brochure that will have detailed information on each home that they're going to visit. So it'll be more information than if they didn't stop at the pavilion. The other thing is, at the pavilion, we will have applications if they want to join the Heritage Commission, applications for if they want to become an associate member, and applications if they want to have their home plaqued. So it would be their best interest to start there, but there's nothing that says you have to. The things that we would need to do on the day prior, that would be the Friday prior to the tour, I've highlighted everything that needs to happen from a City Hall perspective, and then things that we have already collected. So things that we would need to pick up from City Hall are going to be highlighted in the yellow. So we have to obtain the key to the pavilion the day prior because City Hall is not open on Saturday. We need to obtain the large 4-panel display.
In that
that's
cabinet
in
right down here.
This cabinet. I'm going to do a table easel with our rules, and I had the rules blown up we do want to put one of these at each home, which is the tour and the rules, because again, we don't know if someone will go to the pavilion first. On the ticket themselves that the Women's Club has designed, they're fantastic. They've done such an amazing job at printing those tickets. They're all numbered. And it does have the rules on the ticket, but not every little rule. So I printed this up. I'm going to put it, I think, on some core, like a backing, and so it stands up better. But it just says, Merry Christmas and welcome to the Heritage Commission Tour of Homes. Thank you for attending. For the safety and enjoyment of all, just don't smoke on people's property. Due to the age of the home, we just want people to be aware that it's not ADA compliant. That there are some stairs and steps that don't have handrails, that things are, uneven paths, that kind of thing. And the restrooms are at the pavilion. So if someone didn't start at the pavilion, they could know that they could go back to the pavilion and use restrooms there. There's no children under 10, no food and drinks inside of the homes, and the last entry is at 3:30 p.m. So we'll have this set up at the, and once someone comes into the pavilion so that they can see it. It's just, kind of a courtesy to the homeowners to not have people, bringing, cigarettes and that kind of thing. Confirm the food and the water. In talking with Janice, I explained to her that we were just kind of blindsided by a new rule that came down through City Hall, that we cannot use out of our budget money for food or water. And that put us in a predicament that, yes, for events in the future, we can
We have to be sponsored.
we can sponsor that, but it was just too short notice to start doing that at this time. And so you had said that maybe the Women's Club could be able to do that.
If you don't want anything, okay, we can definitely do cookies and, some.
That's, yeah, maybe Christmas cookies and bottled water.
Our ladies are good at.
Can you check on that for me?
Sure.
Oh,
We've already
okay.
talked about it, I gave them a heads up that I had said it in case that worked around, and they were like, oh, you'll be fine.
Is that something you guys have to vote on, or is it just
I
something?
guess we did, I don't remember talking about it. It's all okay.
Okay,
It's all okay.
all right, well, that's great, because
Count on it some way.
that saves us, because like at the roundtable event, Christine was out $200. So we all decided to chip in to help her, but that kind of throws us in, we're just volunteers. We shouldn't be expected to pay for everything, so.
Peter, can I comment?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mayor.
So, we talked about this last week, and during our tenure, and I'm sure Carrie, you guys probably remember the few events that we put on, remember the luncheon for all the old homeowners, and that lunch was provided. That came out of our budget, out of the Heritage Commission budget. We could fill out expense report and got paid back through the
Correct.
city, but it came out of your budget, not your
Right.
pocket. If you had personal expenses, you filled out a request expense report, right? So I did talk to Charlie about it, and he didn't understand it that way, and so I have put an email out to Rich to confirm. So stay tuned on that, because I just know we did it for a couple of years, like we were doing.
Right.
And that's why you have a budget. We would submit our ideas for the year. We would say, okay, this is going to cost this, which included refreshments. Okay? And to me, that's really kind of what makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
again, it's for the citizens.
Right.
It's their tax money being used for an event.
An event, correct.
And, when it comes to a sponsorship situation, I've had something like that recently that I did. And that was a little separate, because it's just a whole, when I did the Veterans Breakfast, we looked for sponsorship for that. But in this situation, it's open to the entire public, okay?
And we have a budget for events.
Right.
And part of the event is water, and the reason we really need water is because it's a walking tour. Sure, it's probably not going to be hot, you know, in December, but certainly for the kids in March and April when the kids tour, they do bring their own water bottles, but there's situations where we need to have extra water for 100+ kids when it's boiling out. So
Well, if I don't hear from him today, I'm gonna call him up and ask him. Because
Okay.
I sent a message last Thursday, so.
And also, I think when you're talking about the expenditures, and I think in the past we've looked at it, it's not like the money is running through us individually. Like, so say with Clyde's, you know, in the Mother's Day event and whatnot.
they
Clyde's
invoice.
invoice the city,
Mhm.
the city pays Clyde's.
Right.
We individually were not, you know, involved at all.
It's like having
And it
this
was-
laminated.
It was in support
this-
of the event
right.
that was open to the public, that to benefit the city citizens underneath the mission of the Heritage Commission. So, I don't know.
We'll get it clarified.
Yeah.
I'll assure you that.
We can, you know, whatever it comes to be, we can, you know, provide cookies, if we can buy water, whatever, you know, we'll work with it.
That would be really helpful. Just knowing we have a backup plan is everything.
And, you know, personally, I don't know, because I don't see why we couldn't at least do it anyway, especially if, you know, the water and everything was provided, we can do. It's not like we need that many refreshments, if we, you know, you're 150 people, they can do, what are you gonna take?
Well, if two cookies, exactly.
Exactly.
And it's more just for show, also, you know, like we're providing something and, you know, Christmas
Well, also, you were discussing, you were gonna have some refreshments at your house in the gazebo.
I was, but that doesn't mean everybody will, and I'll get down to that.
Okay,
And
that's,
technically, the Women's Club is putting the event
Exactly.
on.
Right.
So
That's
therefore,
the
you
reason why
being
we did it.
responsible for the drinks and the food
so
and
you
the
take
pavilion
this
makes
until they get their
sense.
stuff.
Yes, exactly, so it should not, it'll happen one way or the other, so. Anyhow.
Can I ask a question before you go on? When you were talking about the rules and regulations, and this only came to pass because yesterday, my husband and I went out to breakfast, and a guy with a service dog came into the restaurant. So have you thought about whether that's going to be an issue for anybody?
I haven't thought about it.
Only because
However,
I was like, oh my God, that dog
if it's
in
a
the restaurant.
service dog and it's a true service dog, then I think it has to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's something that I can add to the list of things I have to go over with
Just
homeowners.
because I saw it yesterday.
The good news with the homeowners is that there's really only 2 out of the 6 that's not us.
therefore, here.
So,
Service dogs are okay with me.
service dogs work for me. But, you know, that's just,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
Also, going back to the refreshment, what about like table covering, that kind of stuff? Do we need to decorate the table or whatever?
I'll go through all of that, but the city usually will provide when we have an event, like the table linens and those kinds of things. The pavilion should be, and that's another thing on the list, and I have to check with Drew,
Okay.
whether or not it'll be decorated or not. In the past, the pavilion has been all decorated for Christmas,
Right.
and then we don't really have to do much.
Right.
That's,
Okay.
that is the plan.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, then we just need to provide the cookies or drinking water,
Right.
whatever.
right.
That's good.
Okay, so, where was it? Detailed brochure of the homes and a map. And I'm gonna confirm the number to print based on ticket sales. So if we don't sell 150, then I'll print less. So I'll go ahead and start off with, say, printing 50, and then if I need more, we will print more kind of at the last minute, which brings me to this. So when I was first thinking about doing this brochure, this is the one from St. Augustine. And while I loved it because it is very pretty and it is done very professionally, I found this in the archives of stuff at my house. And this is the 2010 walking tour of historic homes. And although it is not detailed, which I intend to do, have probably 6 or 7, 8 pages of information, I really like the look of this. I thought, you know what, we're not St. Augustine. We're Keystone Heights.
And it's the first one.
And we want, and you know, I want it to be that nostalgic look, and I want it to be low key, and I want it to be us. And so if y'all are okay with going with this kind of format, and then what I thought we could do is have a generic that we can use time after time again, and then be able to just slip in the different homes so that we, from a print standpoint, we can, you know, have some economies of scale down the road if we're printing these again. So, all right, well, good. So I have plans, and I am meeting with someone who is going to take all my chicken scratch of ideas and create a PDF so that it can go to the printer. And we're using Copy Cabana. Copy Cabana is the one who laminated this for me. Copy Cabana also printed, I can't remember, I think about 50 of these, of which I've put them in 25 of the businesses downtown so far. And I'll get to the rest of that next week. And they've been, I have them put in every single business window, including the library. And I kind of did a 2-for-1 because I've got the gala and I've got this, so I'm like walking down the street like, it was crazy.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but on the, well, not necessarily that, but the pamphlet for the homes for the night.
Right.
Are they gonna do something like in the old style look, but maybe some holly, you know, some faded red and green? I mean, something to make it look.
Christmassy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Great idea.
Okay.
I didn't really think of that. Yes, I love that.
All right. Perfect. That'll be, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Festive.
no.
Is there something, Christine, that would be authentic, like?
We'll see what they did here. They did the
I haven't found
poinsettias.
anything in the, I'll keep an eye out on the advertisements, but I haven't found, we have very few artifacts from the inn or from the Lawrence Development Company. So,
Well, like maybe like a pine, you know, like something local,
What if you took
you know.
a picture of the
flora, fauna,
gazebo
you
with
know.
in a black and white?
It's true.
Well,
Over at
and,
Nature Park.
and like on this one here, and I'm just going to show you because it is in color, they kept the theme. So they have the poinsettias on all of this, and then inside everything is the poinsettias. And it's all Christmas driven, you know.
that
So-
would be something to see if we can find, you know, just some pictures of floral arrangements done with palmettos and incorporate that into our stuff. Palmettos and, you know, some of the local stuff like magnolia, palmettos, and pine.
Yeah. Actually, over in azaleas.
Like red azaleas.
Oh, wow.
Are they in season at Christmas?
Yeah, they bloom in the winter.
You know,
Camellias.
when I researched the plan for the wreaths,
Mhm.
I researched vintage wreaths of the 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it included fruit
Mhm.
and the pine, the soft pine, and pine cones.
Dehydrated oranges.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be pretty
I mean,
too.
it did include a lot of fruit, which I think was kind of interesting. Of course, we didn't have to buy artificial fruit for our wreaths, so it didn't work.
Right.
But on the photograph, you know, it just makes it feel a little bit more old-timey, more homemade like.
Right.
Is kind of what they did.
Well, and
Unless you can find the flowers, or like you say, poinsettias or something locally, or like azaleas, you know, to bring the color in.
well, over in Melrose at Christmas, at their art thing over there, that white picket fence, what they do is they take the palmetto fronds and they turn them upside down and they put a bow on it. It looks so cute. And then after, you know, over 15 years of going to tours of homes, the one that's in St. Augustine is done by the Garden Club. So the Garden Club actually decorates every home. whereas we don't have any piece of that. And they decorate everything kind of in period with all live boughs. So everything is real. There's no fake anything. So they have bowls, which I plan on doing, taking just bowls of oranges, and then they fill them with, stick them with cloves. And it has such a beautiful scent, the orange and the clove. I mean, they didn't have the stuff that we had, the potpourri and all that that we have now. So they use that to scent their homes, and it's beautiful. So I plan on having like a little arrangement somewhere of oranges with cloves. Even went out and bought cloves.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean that's a great idea. Then the applications, of course, I have to get from the city for the commission, associate members, and the plaque. I'm going to ask the Friends of Keystone Heights, if everybody's okay with this, to have a merchandise table because it is our centennial. The people that are on the tour of homes, they are the same folks that would be interested in the history of Keystone and its centennial. So why not have the sales of the historic calendars, the t-shirts, and all of those things that you see outside in the window here of City Hall. And maybe we can get a member, and they can also sell gala tickets because we're trying to sell tickets to that as well, and tables for the gala. So if you're okay with that, I thought
I think it's great.
Yeah.
it would be kind of help them out, but it also helps us because why wouldn't we want other people to know about, our calendar events throughout the whole year? We do have to create a sign-in sheet. And again, this is the general public, so I just want to make it really simple. It'd just be nice to have just their name, telephone number. I'm not even going to ask for email. Maybe I should, do you think? I mean, just something that we know who came in. I don't know. Decorations for the pavilion. It's already been decided that they are going to decorate for Christmas as they have in the past. Then maybe we could get some music or the screen running in the background with heritage photos. We've done that before. I just need to know who could set that up, and I'll talk with Drew to see how that could be done. The Keystone Heights banner needs to be placed on the fence at the beach entrance. Then again, that's the Public Works usually helps us with that. And then I'll pick up some just name tags for everyone that's helping on the tour. We'll have our Heritage Commission badges, and everyone else that's going to be helping should have a name tag. Then the morning of the tour, we have numbered signs made up that says Heritage Commission, and are they wood? Are they wood or metal? I can't remember.
The ones that go in the yard?
Yeah.
No, they're that lightweight
Corrugated,
plastic.
okay. So we will put them out at each of the homes. So even though everyone has a map on the back of their ticket, and there will be a map in the pamphlet, it will be definitely designated in the front of the house that this is house number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll meet at the pavilion on the morning of the tour at 10 o'clock. Now here's something I need to ask Helen. Can you be at the pavilion during the day?
As far as I know.
Okay, because otherwise we won't have a Heritage Commission member because everyone's going to be in their respective houses. And so that would be a true blessing if you could be there.
Okay.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
I'll plan to be down there.
Oh, good. Yeah, we will definitely need some,
Taking care of the veterans, I'll just do that and whatever else needs doing.
Oh, that would be
And I'll
so,
personal others, but that can be my
Right.
spot.
right. Oh, that would be great.
And then-
Because people will come in, they'll have questions and,
Yes.
where are the restrooms? Where do I sign in? Where do I get a brochure? What house should I start with first? That kind of thing.
Right, well, we'll have other members too, obviously, around.
Right.
Can be my spot for, since I'm in communication and most, and probably Sam, I would think, would probably stay there too.
Okay,
Samantha. So,
okay. That would be really good. So 1 week out, I'm going to call the homeowners to review the procedures and ask if we can have a quick rehearsal on Friday. What I'd like to ultimately do is to invite all the commission members and everyone working the event to that, to the homes. Because if you're working at the house, you don't get to see the other houses. The tour is over, and it doesn't seem fair that the women's club, who volunteers their time and goes through all of this, never gets to see any of the houses. So the best way to do that would be to have a quick tour and kind of a rehearsal, if you will, the night before. And that way I can give this information to the homeowners, as well as giving them a few of the extra brochures, maybe just have 10 at each house or so, because if someone doesn't go to the pavilion, then they didn't get the brochure. So I just thought we can ask Leah and Lisa if they would be, open to that idea. If not, then we just work around it. But and maybe you can like trade off so that, like Janice, you could go and see all the houses and then come back, or see 2 and 3, and then let Sam go see 2. That
we'll figure out.
you'll figure it out, right? And then the procedures to review with the homeowners is to have a person at the front door to check tickets and let them know that it's only their first floors. So if you have a second story in the house, you don't need to be worrying about people going up and down the stairs. And then whoever's checking off those tickets need to be letting people know, just to watch your step, because in these older homes, there's a lot of uneven surfaces sometimes. Have the mini sign of the rules. Explain to the homeowners that there are people that will want to take photos. Are they comfortable with having someone take photos inside their house? So if they're not, then they need to be, that person who's checking off the tickets, they need to say, we'd appreciate no one taking photos. Providing additional brochures. Also letting them know that valuables, prescriptions, guns should not be in sight. I know that seems obvious, but you would be so surprised. Helen can tell you. We do open houses and we're like, what? What are they thinking? Then if they want to provide refreshments at the houses, it's really up to them. But we're going to suggest that there's no alcohol. Again, it's their house. They can do what they want. But we're going to just make suggestions. And then we're going to, explain how to handle people with pets, kids, smokers that just come in. How, if you've ever met Lisa, you would know that she would not say anything to someone, And so a gracious...
Natalie's going to be working, you're talking about Leah?
No, Lisa Kanos.
Oh, okay.
But Natalie,
Leah's the
you
same
don't have to
way.
worry about
Natalie's
Leah,
gonna be
'cause
helping
Natalie's
Leah.
gonna be there. There'll be none of that. But Lisa, she's so quiet and sweet. I could see her not knowing how to handle that. But I just go over a few ideas
With
with
the
her.
most assertive person
Yeah.
at the door.
Yeah, exactly. But you just need to be nice, and most people that will be coming to an event like this will probably never never be doing any of that anyway. It's just the what ifs, right? Ask if they want someone from the Women's Club to help, and the number of people that we need for that house. Because again, we're really only talking about 2 houses that we need, thank goodness, on this event. But most likely they will have their friends there to help. And then the other piece is how to move through the home, the best way, entrance and exit. So if you come in the front entrance, is there an exit out the back? Is there a way that you want to move people through the house and what that path should look like? And then how to get back out? What's the logistics of it? Kind of like if you're showing a house. You know, what's the best way to do it? And there are better ways than others. And so taking that into account, meeting them up just a little bit ahead of time, saying, hey, this might be the best course. And then explaining that the last entry should be at 3:30 so that the entire tour is completed by 4 o'clock or 4:15. And we have thought through this and actually walked it and counted the time it took to get from one house to the next, like physically done that. And it was suggested that we start at Nina's house, the Lawrence home, and then go to the Bergen house, which is almost across the street, and then walk down to the end of the block, come across and go to Christine's house, which is the red house behind the library. And then right next door to the Palmetto house is the Inn at Palmetto, which is Carrie Collins's business. So those two are right next door. The Lawrence house and the Bergen house are really close to each other. And then if you go straight down Palmetto, past the tennis courts, Leah's house is just 2 doors to the left of that. And then Lisa's is 4 houses down. So if they go to Lisa's and then do Leah's last, they end up really back at the parking lot where they started. And that was the idea. Of course, they can do anything they want. When I do the tour of homes at St. Augustine, I start backwards because everybody's going in the other way. So, you know, it just depends. If you could have all your friends coming back at your house at the last. And then 2 weeks out, we want to meet with the Women's Club. I'll actually probably want to meet with everybody at the Women's Club to get the number of ticket sales and the names and the cell phone numbers of everyone that's actually helping. Not only so I can create name badges, but that I can be in contact with them if they need to be at one place and they need to shift to another, or if there's anything along those lines. And then if we need to print additional brochures, I have 2 weeks to get that accomplished. And then I'll email city staff with any other requests based on the highlighted items. That's, I think, about it.
I have a suggestion. On the, and I don't know how y'all are going to do your volunteers, but based on, it may not be a bad idea to, when you're assigning the volunteers, I'm probably going to recruit volunteers because I probably want at least 4 people in my house, maybe 5, because of the layout.
Mm-hmm.
And because you can't see one room to the other. So depending on your layout of your home might dictate how many volunteers are needed in each house.
Right.
But because I have so many personal items throughout the house that I'm not going to put away, I'll do that. I'll probably, like I said, I'll recruit my own. But I think in the other homes, it might be a good idea to take a look and see how many that homeowner feels comfortable with doing. I know other homes that I've toured on previous, like even the Riverside tour homes at Christmas and all the stuff in Jacksonville, they typically had someone in just about every room. Just to keep, because it's your personal home.
Right.
And with children, you know, I think I would have probably cut it off at 12 and older. Just because you have things in your home and you don't, people tend to want to touch, you know.
Well, we have it at 10.
Yeah,
I'm
10.
not sure.
Yeah, with an adult, sure. Oh, great, thanks. Okay. Thanks. But it's
Those
just,
two-
I think for the planning, just kind of know how many you need per house, you know, it might be a good idea. It's just my feelings about it, because I think, because yours is a business, Carrie, and I know, but you still kind of want to keep eyeing things. and you can't just do it with one person, they're taking tickets, and somebody's running through your house, and there's nobody keeping an eye on things, you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
usually the way that they have done it in the past, and again, that's the reason for meeting with the actual homeowner, like the day before, to kind of do that rehearsal, is it really depends on the traffic flow. So if you have, 20 people lined up, there should never be more than 10 people going through the tour in the house at the same time. And then those 10 people will have one person, that would be you in your house, right? You're going to be doing the tour. You're going to need people in the other rooms because someone will lag behind, someone will be taking photos so that they can be monitored, right? And that's the way they have done it. When those 10 people then exit, the other 10 come in. So if it's just one or two, it's not a big deal, right? So, it will depend on how many people we actually get and what the,
How many tickets have been sold to
Carry
the
like 30.
30? Oh, wow.
That's too bad for not, for this time of year and other things that's been going on, and the fact that it's another month off.
Yeah.
People thinking
Time gets
Thanksgiving right
closer.
now.
Yeah.
Everything always does, but yeah.
Has it been put in the newspaper? Do you know?
well, see, that's the,
For the advertising?
so on these sheets here, what I did was when I met with the Women's Club, we went through the responsibilities of the Heritage Commission and the responsibilities of the Women's Club. So the Women's Club was going to design the tickets for the tour, provide the Heritage for the draft of the tickets, which they did, and then they began selling them in October. The tickets are adorable. They really are cute, and they have that whole little theme with the bells, and they did a really excellent job.
If you want to
The-
see, I've got.
The idea was to sell 150 and to secure at least 18 members to participate as like docents in the home. We would like to have 2, but maybe 1 would be sufficient as parking attendants, because if everybody is going on the tour and it takes several hours, you're going to have a lot of people parked in that parking lot. And just, if someone's in the parking lot, they can say, okay, the pavilion's here, because believe it or not, everyone doesn't know where the pavilion is. And then to promote in the Keystone Monitor, Clay Today, and the Keystone Herald, all promotional material must indicate this is a Heritage Commission tour in collaboration with the Women's Club, but they already know all that. But you might want to check with the Monitor and all of them as to when their cutoff date is to get the next paper out.
We're used to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then to promote the event on the Women's Facebook page, which they have done, and you can purchase tickets online
And I know,
at the Women's. Go ahead, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I didn't realize you were finished with the sentence.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the city, of course, will put on their Facebook page too, which we can give them everything that we do, but we don't give it to them until they're ready to do it, because, it's too soon ahead of time. So they will also appreciate that, and we'll be giving
Right.
it to them.
And I've asked them to put it on the marquee as well. And then the responsibilities of the Heritage Commission, which is the flyer in green, is to complete the application of it, with the city, which we've done. Email the city staff to have the commission banner placed on the bench, at the beach fence rather. Request a printing of 6-panel brochure, the Heritage Commission and associate member applications. Request them printing the historic plaque applications. Request the city staff printing informational flyers on the tour, but we already have done that. Request tour of home signs, which are the ones that's actually going to physically go in front of the houses. Request the waters, but this was drawn up prior to us knowing about that whole thing. And requesting the hard case presentation panel. I used Copy Cabana for this and the large flyer poster thing, so they know that they need to invoice the city and not have taxes on there. And request the staff to mail letters to homeowners. They've already done that. So I sent a letter out to the homeowners a month in advance, so that's already gone out to the homeowners. You should have gotten one. You didn't?
I didn't get one either.
Well, I didn't send one to you.
Okay.
I sent one to Nina. It should have come as an email from the city.
Oh, it came as an email?
Oh, no. It should have come as a letter.
I don't recall, unless it came yesterday or something.
No, it would have been a month ago.
Really?
And so it detailed everything I'm talking about.
That's weird.
Well, I know the other two did get it because I got text messages from them right away. And it said, you know,
Maybe
hey, what do you?
I didn't see it or something. I'll check again.
Okay. And then to print out the sign-in sheet to have at the pavilion, order an invoice city for license, of course, that's not applicable at this point. But that's what everybody's role was in this. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's the main event of this meeting. That's the main event.
So would the Women's Club have someone at every house to take the tickets?
We definitely plan on that.
Okay.
We're going for 2.
Okay,
Okay,
But
so
definitely-
We have a little bit of trouble with, we'll round them up.
yeah. I
People
think,
committing until the last minute.
right,
But
it's
we
hard.
promise we'll get it,
Yeah.
somehow. But providing them for rooms and extra more than 2 at a house, I'm thinking, of course, you're covered, you know that. But hopefully, y'all have friends too that, will help out.
Yeah, I'll be
Have time.
providing my own people.
And we're getting the best, our husbands are good about helping too, like at the parking attendants, I know probably if Fred's not already committed to Kiwanis that day, I don't think they got anything going on, but he can probably, and guys are better at that than, sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyhow, there's a couple other husbands that are active that will, whatever. So I'm sure that we can get outside of that. I don't even know.
And
We're
Jan,
not
I
all over it, it's not, I just know that everybody's overwhelmed with, other things that we're doing, and this is like, okay, down the way, but we got it. So
Yeah,
it's,
oh yeah, it'll
don't
be
worry
fine.
over it not
Yeah.
being.
And please let everyone know at the Women's Club that we understand more than you would know, that we all wear many hats.
Yes.
That a community like Keystone Heights, it is literally run not just by the city government. It's the Kiwanis, it's the Women's Club, it's the Garden Club, it's Rotary, it's all of the different people. And guess what? It's the same people on all those groups. It is. It is. And so everyone is overwhelmed. And I want you to please let them know that we get it.
Okay, we are, just so that you know that we know that you get it. Like, oh my gosh, we told them and now we're gonna, but it's okay, we don't panic, we just do it.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, I'm doing double duty with putting these out, and I'm also putting the gala flyers for the friends out, and I'm doing this, and I'm trying to sell those gala tickets, and I'm selling tables, and it's like, it's a lot. And so we understand. And I know you just had your chili cook-off thing, and the line dancing and all of that you just did, and you had a big bonanza before that. Like,
Yes.
so you have a lot, but that's why we chose you.
Well, and we
Because
appreciate that, and we're doing
The
it.
busy people get the stuff done.
Right.
You've got a great page for purchasing. I went there for the first time. I realized you could purchase tickets. Saw it advertised, and it's really impressive. I like it.
Right, well, good. Brooklyn is really good at setting that stuff up. That's beyond my knowledge. I go, this is what we go. She goes, okay, got it. And she was. Anyway.
But let me ask you this. So when they go on and they click and they pay, do you use like PayPal or something like that?
Whatever way you can.
Oh,
pay.
okay.
There's Apple and there's credit
Right.
card and there's Apple.
Okay, so they pay. How do they get the physical ticket?
Most of them so far, of course, we mark it off the list and I put them in another pile with a name on them that I took 9 of this. Most of them like, well, whatever, we figure out something if we have to mail it, or they can just pick it up that day. We have it at the, So
Okay.
it's all somehow or another. They just need to get with us and let us know where do we want to. You local, I delivered some yesterday. Well, it was you. So it's all, workable.
Well, they have the
Because
same
it's
thing
not
on the St.
electronic
Augustine
ticket.
one.
If they want a picture, we send it to them, we can do that.
Right.
But there's information, I'm not sure how she has it set up on actually getting a physical ticket, but like the other day at our country dancing night, there weren't physical tickets, show up at the door, your name is on the list. you know.
Right.
So that way kind of we'll have that down there, but also if they haven't gotten a ticket and don't care to get it, it'll be the physical ticket there. So, there's,
Okay.
you know, it's not.
Okay. It's just that people that are at the houses are looking for a
Oh,
physical.
yeah, they'll get
Yeah.
the ticket when they
Okay.
come. They will have to, if they haven't gotten it or contacted us to
Right.
get it.
Right.
You know, they will, it'll be there. They'll have to come to
Right.
Rivian first to get it.
Right.
And their name will be on one, but
Right.
we have that to somehow get it. And
Right.
it's more concerning to mail them in that. Obviously, you didn't get yours, and there's so much mail that gets lost these days.
It does.
That, you know, to put it in the mail, and then we don't have it, you don't have it, where is it? You know,
Right.
kind of thing. So the mail's a little.
Well, here's,
concerned about-
and again, this is just something we can iron out right now. If for some reason someone comes and they didn't get their ticket, if you just let us know their name and then call, like, or text the people that are going to be at the front station of each of the houses and
Yeah.
just say, Mary Beth
Right.
has got a ticket. When she gets there, she's just going to say it's Mary Beth. We'll let them in.
Well,
We're
maybe
just
if
not
we-
going to let random people in.
Well, maybe it'd be a good idea at each house to have whoever's the hostess, especially if it's women's club, to have a list of the tickets right there, who bought one, because that, you've already solved it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there is a list, we
It-
have.
yeah, if you can give us a list.
Everybody staple it to the, you know, whatever that is here with the house for the information to just check
Yeah,
it.
so it's, so for consistent ways to communicate, like you said,
One
the
list.
list of, say the ones who have picked their ticket up, that list is at each house at the entry.
If you
And
can
then
provide
they
that,
have your name and then that
People
person
do
will
that,
check
make
it
sure
off.
there's a copy at every house. And
because
that
all the
person-
tickets are numbered.
Yes,
Right.
and I have, since this, and I'm gonna stay there all day with Helen, I mean, I'll have a master list, I'll have the tickets. So they
Okay.
can come there and pick it up, or if they show up to the
Perfect.
house without it, somebody can, oh, here's the list, oh, yes, we see that you have one, so you're fine, go ahead,
Perfect.
kind of thing. They won't have to rule, you know, whatever the map, if they don't get it, but there again, they'll have their brochure, it shows it in that, so
Right,
it's not a big deal.
right.
So, it's all.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all good.
Yes, I'll put it right here on my list to make sure that we have a master list to everybody.
Because people may buy tickets as gifts also.
Yes, right.
So it might not be
Which
the
they are
same
doing,
name,
yes.
you know, associated with the
Mhm.
number. So, but as long as they have, and I guess if you're having a hard time, you could always, if the employees were okay with it, leave it at City Hall for people to pick up.
Sure.
You know, with, in an envelope with their
Yes,
name on it.
that's,
I think I'll be fine if there's one person at the door taking tickets,
Uh-huh.
and then I have an innkeeper who's gonna be there for sure.
mhm.
And then I may be able to recruit one more person, but,
Okay.
so if you get two, that's great, but if not, I think I'll be good with
Okay,
one.
that's good to know, because we can sure, there's no problem with getting one, I know, but the
Yeah.
second one in some cases might be.
Yeah, I mean, my bottom floor is pretty open,
Okay, all right.
so having someone at the front and someone in the kitchen, I think would cover, like, you know, everything I need. I mean, people may go out on the porch with the laundry, but I'm not worried, honestly, I'm not worried about anything at the bottom floor of my house, you know, because it's
It's
set
I'm
up
not worried.
Set up for
Right,
strangers.
I mean, there's really nothing in my house anybody's going to make off with.
I got a lot of little stuff. In
But
my
I have
dining
a
room,
lot of little stuff, but it's
Yeah.
going to be all cleared off because I'll have all the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
well, for like my dining room, I have,
oh, yeah.
you know, I've got all the stuff in the dining room, and that'll be set, I'll be definitely, you know, I'll have someone in there.
And, yeah, for sure. But all the, you know, that's the thing with all of these old homes, they're very compartmentalized.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the open floor plan,
Yeah.
and, you know, one person stands there and you can see everything. You know, there's all these little rooms,
Yes.
you know, and so, yeah. Anyway, it'll work out.
Yeah, it will.
And I'm sorry that I'm like so, you know, like
Oh, I
really
understand.
detailed about it, but
That's the way I am. get
I
it.
just feel like now's our opportunity to go through all the little details.
Yes, no, it's not scary,
Well-
other than just, you know, we're doing our best. So if I'm vague about answering a question, we'll be all right.
It's I really, really know.
In your house, are you going to have them go out the back? the
They're gonna go, in my house, they're gonna come in the front door, go through the living room, dining room, onto my back porch, which is actually my office. Then come through the master suite, and then that kind of circles around, and then go back through my TV room and into the kitchen and out my kitchen door. through the laundry room. That's the best path of getting a circle. And then everyone can go, you know. And the front of my house, because my house kind of is on a side, it's on a side, the entry is on the side. In the front of that is a gazebo. So again, we have to think about, is it raining? Is it, you know, all of these other things. But in the gazebo, I'm probably going to have some waters there for people. I'll probably have cookies.
Because I was gonna let them come in the front door and do the circle and then out the back.
That's how I'm doing it.
And we were scheduled to have the deck done by then, but it's not done. John got busy with other stuff. Anyway, so they're gonna have to go down those steps. I'm gonna have to station someone there.
Yeah, you will miss
But then
these.
I'll take them.
And that's the
through
reason I didn't do it at my house, because the steps down onto the lakeside,
Yeah.
there's 5, you know, concrete steps.
Hmm.
And there's no railings, you know, so I don't want anyone going there.
Well, that's why I
and
was
going out
asking.
the laundry room, there's no steps at all, because the house is on a hill, so.
I might just, you know, if no one else was gonna be doing the backyard. I mean, my yard's not open like Nina's, mine's a little postage stamp, so you gotta,
Mine's kind of open,
Yeah.
so people
Mine
can
is
see it
not.
if they're waiting out front, but
mine's a little courtyard.
I love
But
it.
it's very private back there. But if they wanted to go see my chickens. Well, that's it, you know, I was gonna let them out the back. I've got my vegetable garden and, you know, and everything back there and my chickens, and, you know, my girls like to be seen. They need attention when they get cranky. I'm serious. So I think I'll do that, but I think I'm gonna have to station someone right there,
Up to
'cause
150. Or minus 120.
Okay,
I just brought my whole little gang.
okay.
You know, so-
I'm gonna get some after.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked up 10, I've already sold them.
tickets.
So if anybody knows.
I think the biggest thing is just everyone needs to know how to get them.
And I was gonna talk, of course, with the city, that they would be happy to, but I don't think there's any reason for them to have them until after Thanksgiving either. They don't need to be, so we haven't really made a plan for that, but.
Yeah.
So
I'll just advertise them again on
But
the,
if they're here,
on the
we'll put that
Facebook
on
page.
Facebook, they can come in and walk
Yeah,
in.
you could leave
So-
some today, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know, thanks, I'd rather wait. I mean, they can have it if they want them, I just don't want something in their way longer
Well,
than.
Thanksgiving's so late.
And I just had them put this up out there.
Well, I'll ask
So-
for the, another reason I brought them, in case anybody here needed some, or had questions about seeing them, and to check with them about a timeline on leaving them for them, so.
I mean, I pulled up, I saw the Christmas decorations, I was like, all right, we're ready to go.
I'm already listening to Christmas music.
oh, not me.
In the
I'm
car,
not-
I got
not
the Christmas
doing it.
music on.
Things have to be done in order.
The way I'm gonna run close to the house is, you know, we have, again, the magical, which is the front door, right?
Right.
So mine is also on the side, the entry to the foyer. And so have people come in there, there's rails going up on those steps, and then make an immediate right, it takes you past the servant stairs into the living room, out to the front porch, if they want to go out there, and then they loop back through the dining room, through the kitchen, out the back door, which is a separate door.
That's
And
perfect.
then I'm gonna have the she shed decorated and have refreshments in the she shed. And then we have a table outside, I'll have it set up, people wanna take a seat or whatever, right in the middle of the yard. So, we'll see how that goes. I think that'll be easier flow of people
Yep.
making the circle.
That's the perfect.
But you can see none of the
Solution
rooms,
for
you
yours.
can't see any, you know, you can't see one room to the other except from the sink into the dining room essentially.
Right.
You know, it's at the heart of the corner, so. But I think that'd be the easiest way to manage it.
Yeah, but see, you have the circle option too, so.
Mine's a circle, as long as they don't go out the back door, they would have to go back out the front. You know, because you go.
Right. Well,
But then-
every house is gonna be different.
Yeah.
You know.
I can always bring them around the side and through the side gate into the back if they wanted to see that. And then I've got another side gate, I can put them out on the street. Might do that, might do that.
I just hope the weather's nice.
If the weather's nice, all backyards are shut, I guess. Well, no, you can tour with an umbrella. Okay, is there anything else we need to talk about this? Because we've got, our next meeting is in January. So we're not going to be meeting before this, we don't have anything set up. So
Which is why I'm
we need-
sorry it took so long.
No, that's what I'm saying, this is the main event, we need to, any other questions about this, because we're not gonna see anybody until then. Yep, okay. Okay, so, at the next city council meeting, they're going to be voting on or discussing our hours, changing our hours to our meeting time at 6 in the evening instead of 10 in the morning, so that we can, it makes it, we've had a lot of input that people can't make the meetings because of the hours. So that means just retirees, you know, or people that run their own businesses. So we want to be able to, I would like to, because of our activity level, add 2 more seats next year. But we still have 1 seat open. And to make that, you know, available for other people that would really, I mean, be very enthusiastic, we could use some more people.
And I went back and researched on the first Heritage Commission meetings, and they were all in the evening.
They were.
On a Thursday at 6:30.
Mhm.
So I don't see how it would be a problem reverting back to that schedule.
Right, and we were originally 7. They cut it down to 5. So go back
And it's in
to
the bylaws, they can go to 7.
Right. I just think with the added events, we need to. Plus, I'm resigning chair, and I think Deirdre's going to do the interim chair until we. No, you said you weren't.
I said, we'll see how it goes. I wasn't sure you were really certain, like.
Oh no, I'm certain. I'm certain. I'm working on a project that I really need to. We have. We don't have much in, you know, because January, I think, I don't think we're going to be doing the yesterday's festival. We're not going to be doing that. And so we don't have anything until the field trip. So those meetings, there's not going to be a lot, and it's going to be member building. We've got a couple other members in mind that they could start in January, you know, and so we'll be, and so there's nothing really that's got to be you know, we have the planning for the field trip and that's it.
The field trip's a big deal though.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of that, do we have it on, that's what I didn't say anything about a minute ago, because I was looking to see if it's on the calendar. It's not yet that I can see. So do we need to go ahead and talk to the school first? Do you want
Yeah.
to give them some,
Well, Karen's our point person on the
Yes.
field trip.
do you want to give them some choices first?
Well,
You know,
I
how it goes when you do it with them.
Yeah, I reached out, I know there was some discussion that maybe someone at City Hall was gonna do it, which I'm totally happy to, you know, anybody can organize the field trip at this point. It's
Okay.
pretty much self-running. But the principal at Keystone Elementary had one date, she said March 6th, with it actually the Thursday before we start setting up for Chautauqua. So, I mean, that actually, I think the timing is great on that for me personally, but,
What about Craig?
Nothing from them, like, I reached out to the principal over there, she gave me her number or her email, crickets on that, but, you know, which I'm happy to pick up the phone and call, but at this point, I say we just plan for that date, if they can make it, great, if not,
You said
maybe-
March 6th?
maybe next year.
Okay,
You know?
that's what she said. I understood because, yeah,
I mean-
testing comes up and then there's a lot of.
I mean, it was
So-
one
Wait a
date.
minute,
It
March-
was, how about, it was March 6th.
March
And I was
6th,
like,
don't we have
Okay,
Chautauqua
so
on the
just
8th and 9th?
Yes.
Yeah, we got Chautauqua on the 8th and 9th.
Okay, I mean, then we're all in the zone, you know, that's how I live. I mean,
Brew the coffee.
I mean, it's about 100, you know, 4th grade or 9-year-olds, you know, it's not, I mean, it's not, from a organizational standpoint, it's
They're
not,
not gonna go to
yeah, a lot. I mean, the school provides everything, pretty much, the lunches, the kids bring their water, we have some coolers if we don't have water bottles. It's mostly your time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the day before, you know, setting up the tent, or, you know, you have
We've got to
stay
schedule
out.
the workshop for the gift bags,
Yeah.
the souvenir bags.
I mean, but if we're meeting in January, there's time
Right.
to do that, you know, so.
And we also have the inventory that we need to do in January.
I mean,
We've already got it scheduled.
Yeah, I mean, but I think if you're feeling, like it's a lot, I think some of these things you can put a pin in, you know what I mean, till later when there's, more time. I think because it's the centennial, there's a lot going on, like Deirdre was saying, with the other organizations and everything. I don't see anything wrong with scaling things back in 2025, let the centennial shine, you know what I mean, and then pick it back up the year after. I think that's a reasonable, thing to do. So, anyway, that would
Okay,
be
wait a
my, that
minute.
would
Did
be
you
my
just say put the
suggestion.
field trip off for a year?
No, I said
Okay.
March 6th was the date they
Okay.
gave, but I mean, if it is too much, I think the continuity on the field trip, it would be good because of the schools and them counting on it, and it's not, honestly, it's not
yeah.
a lot of organization
I think
and
we do
stuff.
need to
It's-
do, these,
I think we need it because, for two reasons. As the face of the centennial, I think the Heritage Commission and the city is the face of the centennial. Centennial, even though Friends of Keystone Heights has taken on a role, it's the city's centennial. It's the 100 years of the city. So I think the Heritage Commission needs to play a vital role in everything that goes on during the centennial, and I don't think we should take a back step. I think if anything, it should be more forward. And I think that getting additional members on the Heritage Commission is what we need. It's just lack of people, because there's only so many hours in a day, and if we had additional people that we could assign the roles for, like you said, you're absolutely right with the kids tour. It's really just having the volunteers at each of the stages. But if there's only 3 of us or only 2 of us, then it doesn't work. We don't have enough volunteers. But if we can add 2 more members to the commission, then that problem is solved.
Well, I mean, I'm all up for adding members. I think it's a win-win. I mean, honestly, there's no downside to it, but I think that we could put the field trip on with the people we have now based on, the associate
Right.
members, assistants we had as well. I mean, we did it last year. I mean, the only person we're missing is Karen, and she, just helped like with the crossing stuff, you know what I mean? Which we have parents to do.
right,
There's so many parent volunteers that come with the field trip. It's like 20 parents.
right.
I mean, we can rely on them for a lot of things as well. So mostly it's just the time that day and, putting it in, and we talked about adding the library as well. So, I mean, I wasn't necessarily, when I was talking about the field trip, when I was talking about scaling back or whatnot, but I'm just saying like,
Here's a possible conflict. The dates that we have the pavilion reserved to get the pop-up museum
it's
set up?
the 7th, she said.
The 7th?
The
Okay, so
7th,
that's the
the
day
next
after,
day.
okay, the
Yeah.
pavilion's clear. Okay, then that can be, we'll do it that
So
way.
then you're gonna do it the 6th? then?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not too much on everybody.
We'll just block out the
Then
time.
you can just, worry about that whole week.
We're gonna be
Do we have a formal application at this point then for the 6th? We need to do that.
No, we should do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really important that it gets passed through Charlie and staff
Right.
to make sure they have the bandwidth to support, like you had that other event going on. And we had some challenges, what was it, earlier this year, things were too back to back.
Right.
Made it really challenging. I just make sure that he's good with the date and coordinate, because they may have some of the stuff too going on that we don't even know about. You know what I'm saying?
I think the wake sports or whatever, it was Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
and-
Well, the Chautauqua
only the
dates
city
have already been
selection
cleared
too.
with them.
Yeah.
I
No,
had
I know that, but
yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about for the
Oh,
tour, for the kids.
the
Because
okay.
it's again taking away spaces.
Right.
And, it's just, I would definitely clear with him. for
Yeah.
Totally firm.
It's great to have the pavilion. Like, do we need it? I don't know. I mean, we all start there, but we could all start on a picnic table for that matter, but yes, I mean, I'm 100% to reserve it and make sure the staff isn't overwhelmed and that they have the bandwidth like you're talking about.
Can you
to
reach
do it.
out to Drew?
I can, yeah, I mean, I can fill out an application before I leave, you know, for the next meeting and just make sure the date's clear and all that and, you know, just set the ball in motion, you know.
Yes. If it doesn't work out when we go in the pavilion, it's time to give them all the instructions that we get in the start field. I don't know if that would come through as well outside.
Yes.
I mean, at least inside they're contained. If we're sitting at
Oh,
picnic
yeah.
tables outside, their minds are way not on what you're talking about.
Yes, yes.
So possibly, yes, we can have that for sure. So
Yeah.
that's what we work
Yeah,
out.
it'll work. I mean,
Okay.
if the dates don't work, then they don't work. I mean,
Right,
I think
you can
it's,
pick another day.
yeah.
Yeah, we can tell them when we can do it. McCray can come when they can, whatever.
So that's,
Yeah.
that's the 6th.
Possible.
Possible 6th, possible, just, yeah, and I'll get,
Elementary school field trip.
with that much notice, I can get Gavin to put off for that. Because Gavin covers the Chautauqua and
So,
then
yes.
John covers the,
Right.
and they both need, in order to get time off of work. way
Well, I
advance
think
notice.
this is one of the Heritage Commission's really best things that they've ever come up with, and I would love to see it continue forever. You know, really, because like long after we're all gone, I would love to see that Keystone Heights has a history week with the kids, and that just continues, you know, for as long as the council allows, you know. So I just think it's such a big deal for every kid to learn about the community that they live in.
And
So-
it's better if we have just a certain number of events that we do every year, because it'll
Right.
get easier every year,
Right.
and we don't add anything. And if we have more members, then each person can take point with that particular thing, you know, so that way everyone's not stressed out trying to do all the events.
And this was Carrie's idea, and
I don't know if it was my idea or it was Nina's idea.
No, you're
I don't think.
You're stuck with that.
There were so many ideas.
whoever's idea, I just think it's probably one of the best things we could have ever come up with.
So I have to tell you guys, when I grew on the Boulevard this year, I went home just feeling incredibly full with so many compliments to our staff here and the changes that we've seen happen in this building this last year to the 4th grade tour. I'm gonna tell you, there's not too many places I go that I don't run into one of those kids that went through the tour. Or they come running at me off the sidewalk, oh, hey, Mayor, you know, I had so much fun, and their parents go, oh my gosh, they've done nothing to talk about that, you know, the
Yep.
tour, the kids coming through here. You know, they felt so special to do it, and they felt like they learned something, you know, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Even on July 4th, kids came up to me talking about doing that field trip. And you know, I look at these as signature events. As I'm looking at other things as this next few years roll out, is identifying us with signature events. People start talking about, oh, did you, and I already had people from other parts of Clay County at meetings I've been at ask me, how did you guys do that? You know, they thought it was a cool idea. So I absolutely agree, just like you said, Christine, about, you know, you make sure you manage, you figure out how we can do these every year, and as you continue to add other things. You know, because I think people associate the name with that event, right? As you're getting ready, you just added this new tour of homes, you know, folks will start talking about it, all of a sudden, hey, you need to go do that, it's really cool.
Well, we
Because
moved it
these
from,
lakes are coming back, and we're just gonna have so much focus on our area, people who've never been.
Tour Homes was moved from Mother's Day to Christmas.
Yeah.
But then also the interior instead of just the exterior, but that made room for Chautauqua down at that end.
Well,
I think this year, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Janice.
I was just gonna say, that's why McCray wants to come to the 4th
Yeah.
grade. They've been left out, they didn't hear about it, you know, so.
But they've been contacted now, and then they didn't respond, so.
So, have you contacted the principal?
It was my personal email, and sometimes if you know what I mean, like you get an email out of the blue, you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this is legit.
So I know her.
Okay.
She's a
Yeah.
great lady.
Okay.
And Yes, I'll be happy to reach out to her
Sure.
and
That'd
give
be
her that
great.
date and see
Yeah.
if they would consider it.
That would be
Because I did hear they wanted to do it.
Okay.
And they're a great school.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, and they're Keystone kids too.
Yeah.
But I think this time period is a little unique with the fact that with the centennial coming up and the gala coinciding with the tour homes and stuff, I don't think it's gonna be really repeated.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's gonna be crunch time for
Yes.
for 2025, and
Yes.
it'll be easier after
So I
that.
think like when you think about like all the things, I think that keeping in mind that this is an outlier
Mhm.
and not the norm,
Mhm.
I think helps give it perspective as well.
For those of us that are working on Christmas floats. But here's the thing, and I just want to say this, and we can get back to the agenda, but, I was in here the other day, I can't remember why, to City Hall, and I stopped in, it was probably to put this thing up or something, and, it was for an application for something, and, someone else came in, Joni, I think you came in, and then somebody else came in, and it's like everybody knows everybody, and it felt like a Hallmark moment. I mean, it really did. The Christmas stuff was already out. It was like, yes, that's what this is. We have our little Hallmark little town, and it was just like really sweet, and it just kind of hit me. Remember, it was a moment.
Well, a lot of times we all say, oh, man, Keystone, which is true.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, man, Keystone, whatever, something like that happens, or.
yeah.
there's something
It's like I
special.
say it all the time, we're like that really nice package, we just need the big bow. And we're chasing the bow to get it complete.
Okay, so we have two things here. The Shadow Box Memorial that I need the information for the,
I sent that to you, I think.
did you?
Yeah, but I gotta pick something up from her. Someone did me a little personal drawing, Juliet, of the inn at Palmetto, and I just had it framed by Gail Framery. So I gotta pick it up. So when I pick it up, I did mention to her, oh, we're looking firefighters, police officers, so, I mean, she knows.
Okay. So if
But
you
it's
just
not-
give me a,
I did, I think I sent you her, but I'll do it again.
Okay.
I'll do it again, and I'll tell her that you'll be contacted.
wouldn't be the first
Yeah,
contact
no worries.
information that got lost. In my, I learned never to take business cards anymore. Well, my purse is huge and I lose things,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, and so the next thing is just to put it out there, I found the original plat for Keystone. I don't know, have y'all seen it on the Facebook page? I took a picture of it.
I haven't seen it.
I saw
Okay,
Facebook.
there's only one, it's the original, and it is in very, very bad shape. It was the one that was written up, it was drawn up in June 2023. It predates the C. Ray Lawrence one. And so I did a bunch of research because it's got to be preserved. I would like to make copies, but the problem is these days the scanners that they use, you have to roll the document through a machine, and it won't take that.
Scanners off the hook, lay it flat on.
Well, this is 27 by 27. And so I called around, the first person I called was Vichy, and she didn't have an answer for me. And then there are programs that you can scan it with your phone. I tried that, it's just a mess. And then Renaissance Printing, I tried them. They didn't have anyone to refer me to. So what I did was I purchased kind of an archival frame to put it in. And so it's there, and I dropped it off at City Hall. And it'll stay there because sitting in the box and creased, all those creases are just deteriorating. It's going to end up as nothing but a bunch of rectangles. It has to be laid flat and stabilized. But if we don't find a way to preserve that, so if anybody knows of someone who can do these.
I can do it at Clay, I'll ask somebody.
Okay, it's 27 by 27. And that really needs to be done before it's probably the most fragile thing we've got in the archives. but it's safe for now. It's,
You might want to reach out to the Harn Museum in Gainesville.
What about University of
And,
Florida?
yeah, and,
University
and
of
ask-
Florida is not that easy, man. I'm
but the
gonna,
Harn Museum, those people, that's what they do. And I would ask them,
well, I'm gonna do,
if
I have a
they
field
have-
trip planned to the Madison
okay,
Museum. I'm going there next week. They're actually hoarding some of our things, I found. And so I'm going to go down there and find out exactly
Get
what
them
they've
back.
got. I ran across some, you know, some digital photos, and it's courtesy of the Matheson Museum, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did they get our stuff? This stuff I hadn't even seen. So I'm gonna go down there and
I have a watercolor of the Matheson Museum in my kitchen.
oh. Did you see look on the Facebook page, some of the new photos?
Yeah, I look every day.
Did you see the one at the pavilion?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
The boat enclosure
Yes.
on the side?
That's
It's funny what
cool.
it actually, once you know it's there and you look at some of the other ones that we have, you can just see a little bit of, you know, it's like
Yeah.
it's been there the whole time. And
Wow,
without
I
just
know.
that shift in angle, you couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's one of they have that at the Matheson Museum. It's a postcard. So anyway, and so I'll ask them, you know, what they recommend there. Hopefully I've worked with the university before, and in order to get into their archives, you have to have a letter from a professor of history that's practicing at the time, and all my connections are dead. Including the one I used to have at the Madison Museum, so I've got to go in and reestablish all
But
of
the
them.
Harn would be easier, and everyone there is very helpful.
Yeah, are they? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to be trying to figure out, but if anybody knows, like Clay Electric, if they can do that, that would be wonderful. It just has to be a flatbed.
All on this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. That would be really,
Play-
okay.
Play's great.
I have one question about, changes, so, but Sue Plaster's home, she asked me.
It's on my list. I'm gonna
Okay,
get to it on the agenda.
Okay, that's it. So-
It's not on the agenda,
Oh.
but it's like when we get to the bottom of the agenda.
Okay, that's there. So she asked me for, I said, oh, it's on this come.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right here, the butterfly garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's next.
Oh, okay. So,
That's next up. New business.
under new business, I was at the garden club meeting for the lakes on Thursday. And one of our new members, Elizabeth, and I don't know her last name, she said her and her husband, they listened to my talk about the Heritage Commission as well as the Friends of Keystone Heights and what we were doing for the centennial. And so they went home. You never know how things are going to trickle down from what you say, right? They went home, and he is in the Navy, or was in the Navy, I'm sure he's retired, and he was a welder. And they welded this, I mean, it's this big sign that says Keystone Heights, Florida, 1925 to 2025. Here's a picture of it. And it's this big metal thing. Now they're going to sand it all down, they're going to paint it, and then they wanted to donate it to the city and give to the city. And I thought, what better place would be the garden club than to put it in the nature park next to where the garden club has their butterfly garden. But I thought that would be really something under the Heritage Commission, because it's a centennial thing, that we could do, you know, a whole kind of ribbon cutting thing. And Elizabeth, she was the gal who was very knowledgeable about plants, remember? So she's the one that came up with this. It's amazing. And they've already built, and so they brought it in, she brought it in from her car and talked about it at the garden club meeting, and really kind of sparked everybody talking about the centennial again, which was great. So I thought that we could put that under old business for the next time we meet,
Okay,
in January, and then come up with a date when they've completed, when they've finished it, when they've painted it, when they've done everything that they're gonna do to it. And then we would probably want to have some kind of sign maybe that the city could make that would just say donated by the Garden Club of the Lakes, and then put it out there in the museum. I mean, in the, gosh, I do have that on my mind. In the nature park. Because it's metal, it's not like gonna, be destroyed or anything. So it can be out in the elements.
well, also the nature park, something that I guess that's under our purview, we need to come up with markers in the very near future of outlining where the inn's at, just some sort of designation. The reason being, everyone is going to VR tours. That's, the technology is going to VR tours. So if we need to have it exactly mapped for, and technology is moving fast. It won't be long before, and then it's really because AI does the whole thing, it's very cost effective, that, you could stand there in the park and see the inn. But we need to have it exactly where it was, and if we could just do just some little markers, but we would have to, that's a whole nother discussion of, what kind of markers that wouldn't be in the way, that kind of thing. But it would be kind of, especially between now and the time we get, because I really want us to have one of these VR tours. But anyway, something that wouldn't be in the way, but that would mark just the corners of where it was, the spot. So I'm going to put that for next year.
I think that's a really good idea, because a
Before-
lot of people do say, well,
Where
where
was
was it exactly? So were they right here?
Yeah, and they don't realize it was actually further this way than they realize. And there are all kinds of things like the putting greens that were over there. That was over on that. When you look at the pictures of the putting greens, you can see the old city hall, because the old city hall, when they had the old city hall was the land office before it was the city hall. It was the Lawrence Developing Land Office, and so you had the courts went all the way to the street, and then the hotel right behind it. The old city hall used to sit kind of right where this one is, and from the putting green picture, you can see the city hall in the background.
And the inn was kind of angled too, because they said you could sit on the porch and see the lake. Well, the only way you could be looking at the lake would be if the inn was sort of angled. So it wasn't like straight on this way on Lawrence. It
So
was,
right now, the location only exists in the minds of the people that remember it, or we have to mark it while the information's fresh, or we lose it. So, like I said, that'll be for next year.
yeah.
And then I'll be doing some research for like I said, the VR tours, I think would be really cool.
And can I talk about the plaque application?
Yes.
Okay, so the plaque application for Sue Plaster's home, it is not a 100-year-old home, but it is well over 50 years old. And I read her entire application. I think that she did a really good job at giving us a lot of information as to when she moved in there, what they've done to the home so far, and all of that. She does need, and what my recommendation to the commission would be, is to move forward and accept her application. She does need to pay for the plaque before we can order it. And she just needs to know that. And I was going to call her about that.
Is it still $50?
I think it's 100.
Do we still have the
I think
same
it's-
source? Or is it?
I do not know, because I haven't done any plaques since I've been back on
I think in the application it said 50, because she gave me a $50 check, but she made it to the women's club thinking, anyway. So I think they're thinking it was her dues and said she was $10 short.
Bless her heart.
Anyway, it was supposed to be to go with that, so that's why I have 50 in
I
mind.
think it is 100, and we would need to change that on the application.
Okay, so she said she'd just wait, let her know. So do you want me to go ahead and?
Yeah, go ahead and tell her that just to make it out to the city of Keystone Heights, and then put in the notation field, Heritage Commission plaque,
Okay.
and that would be then for $100, and then we could go ahead and submit that. I do think it needs a little more research, but I don't have time to do that, but right now. But but I could do it start January. But in the interim, we could order the plaque, have the plaque made, and move forward with it.
Okay.
Not delay it any longer.
Yes.
But then at that point, I'll have more detail on the
So
home
we will
itself.
just to go that far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tell her it's all a go.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody else? Anybody got anything?
She had to tell us to leave.
She's good.
I do have something I want to ask y'all about. So you know that, what, a year ago, y'all picked the heritage colors for the businesses downtown, the color palette, right?
Oh,
And since then, we've had a building get painted that's not in that color palette.
yeah, how did that not get on our list?
It's on my list.
Okay, oh, that should have been, oh, thank you very much, it didn't make this list. Yeah, that has to, the ordinance for the colors, yeah.
So there is no current ordinance in place that controls any of that. And I'm looking at it too from the perspective of what's coming downtown beyond what
Right.
anything y'all are doing. And, we invest all that money into making that area look a certain way from all the funding and all that we have, right? Including the paint that was just done. So this is something I will be pitching on the agenda in January to get a ordinance created and identify the area, like it's probably going to be from the corner of from 100, both sides of the road, all the way to the pavilion. We'll probably make it that wide. And, then we'll have to look at folks that are not in those colors to reapproach them and, offer to either paint it with funds, something. But I think because we're looking at putting additional monies to finish up the Lawrence Skate project that got dropped a couple of years ago, including the benches, the signage, flowers, pots, dressing it up, because with everything that's getting ready to happen at the corner as well. Not to mention future ideas that we're talking about currently to extend our downtown shopping area. So,
We really need an ordinance.
right,
Yes.
so we will work on constructing that, and I will look at what other cities have in their writings and see if we can follow similar. Not anything too teethy, but something that allows you to have a vibe when you come up. You know what I mean? I think it's
Well, just something
Well-
cohesive.
Well, when we had the CRA previously, one piece of the CRA was the design review board. And design review had come up with a color palette that was then at that point transferred over to the Heritage Commission. And so we've never had an issue with someone saying, if they ask and we say, here's the color palette, they're almost always, they have no issue with it. The problem here with the Edward Jones building, which is now emerald green, is that they came to the city, and no one from the city directed them to the Heritage Commission, or said, speak with someone on the Heritage Commission, or speak with someone on design review, or yes, we do have. So I think part of that is education, part of it is an ordinance, but even prior to the ordinance, I remember when that medical building on the corner next to Dunkin' Donuts, they were going to paint theirs like purple or some crazy color.
It was lime green.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a lime green.
And I went down by Helen.
They actually painted it. It was like
starting
neon
and-
lime green.
And we went down and talked to them, and they were more than happy to change the color. So they didn't have any issues.
Yeah, I just
So-
want to get y'all's input on how you felt about that effort or that approach. switched.
I think we need it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think keeping it under design review, I think is probably a better fit than the Heritage Commission.
Well, we already
Because
have-
what if there's a newer building down there that gets built or something like that? Then, you know, it doesn't have the historic ties. So if you keep it just associated with design review of Main Street, you know, USA or whatnot,
Right.
then you avoid any of the kind of.
We already have the
It falls
colors.
into the whole
Right.
thing with code enforcement, so
Yeah.
it happens.
Right.
If we designate a certain area that has to follow up with these certain guidelines,
Mhm.
you know, I think for,
The downtown core, it's
Correct,
the
yeah.
core, right?
right.
So can we-
And I'm looking at extending that, but it's gonna be around the corner, but those will also be the same colors to connect the concept. So it's a continuation of the ongoing things downtown. So,
That's
so
great.
I'll be driving next year.
Yay.
So do we call it the Wizard of Oz building?
We call it, it's gonna get fixed building.
Well, at least he just did the raised portion, so it's not gonna be a lot of paint to, you know,
Well,
to fix.
and I mean, if we're throwing out wish lists, this is something like, I don't know about you guys, with the traffic at this time of year because of the snowbirds and the 6-month new contract started, you know, with the RV resort and things like that. The traffic's crazy, and I mean, it is.
It's been really busy.
And it's compounded with tractor trailers. I mean, I was coming up to take a left at the light, and a tractor trailer was coming from a little way distance back, what I considered a way distance back. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my left or whatever. And he's like flying, and he's like waving to me, you know, as I cut, like I was cutting him off or something. And it's like, dude, slow down. You're in a tractor trailer. And I'm wondering, can we, I know that we don't own the roads, you know, but FDOT owns the roads, but if there's a restriction that we can put in place within, for the city limits for tractor trailers, and then they'll have to find another way to go around.
Yeah, I don't know, with SR 21, it's like a main route, so.
Yeah, but
it's
I
a big
mean,
question for
yeah,
counties.
Yeah,
I know
I mean,
that's-
we're not a 4-lane, 21 is 2 lanes still, they're
Right.
never gonna widen that thing. I mean, it's 2 lanes coming in every direction. There are plenty of ways at 301 and everything, where it has 4 lanes, you can go around, even with Hawthorne and whatnot connecting to Palatka. There are alternatives that you don't need to come through.
I
a
remember
small
them
town.
talking about, at one time when they were initially doing that streetscape idea. And they had a meeting with, kind of stakeholders meeting at the pavilion. And this was years ago.
It was
and-
a pet project of Mary Lou's.
I think
When
was
when Mary Lou Hildreth was mayor, she really wanted to, she worked
to take off
anything
these
she could do,
trucks.
yeah, to
And
get
so
the
they
traffic
talked
rerouted.
about having all the trucks diverted on 8th Avenue and come up behind, which is now where the RV is. But the RV thing wasn't even there then.
Yeah.
So the idea was that they could connect and get back up onto 100 without coming through this section. And that would eliminate all of trucks over so many tonnage on this part going by the elementary and all of that.
Like most of it.
And the schools, yeah.
Right.
Well, and then you also, you could send them down a Mockley Road too, but that's residential.
Yeah.
But
I
this
think-
got them
I think
off
it's
of
a
our
great idea.
spot here.
Yeah.
And it really
That
didn't,
same thing, not long ago.
and it really didn't take them out of their area a much. Because if you're telling trucks to divert 3 miles or 2 miles, this would not have hampered, and they did a mileage check, in any way, the mileage for those trucks. So they could just go right down 8th
Yeah.
and come that road back there,
Yeah.
which they call Speedville Road, and hook back up onto 100.
You also have 214, where it comes out north of Keystone here, you know, the intersection that goes to McCray.
Oh.
And then comes around and
But
goes
that
by.
road is like this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
trucks would not do well.
Well,
in
I
like
mean,
this.
I'm less concerned about the trucks than I am about, you know, our small town, you know what I mean? And the roads and the traffic. And I think that's something that the city itself needs to consider proactively. There is so much growth that's going on out toward the airport and and with the, you know, the expansions and whatnot,
Yeah, they are big.
that are beyond our control from a city or a county perspective because it's other county. It's Bradford County. And if we don't proactively put in place measures to protect the infrastructure that we have and what we can handle, it's just gonna become unlivable in some sense.
Well, from my perspective, I walk all the time, and it is noisy on the street for such a small town.
It's-
noisy.
it's those
noisy.
trucks.
It's a main thoroughfare.
It's those 18-wheelers.
And
Well, and you can also hear them coming down 100.
yeah, and that's where the city has the ability, you know, because the county isn't gonna wanna listen to it. You know what I mean? They're not gonna wanna deal with it or listen to it, you know, it's Bradford, you know, they don't, that's traditionally, historically been, you know, the way that it operates. But the city has the ability to take ownership of their future in their own hands and put those sorts of restrictions in place. Nobody else is gonna do it, then you should do it for yourself.
You won't ever get that Hallmark cozy feel.
Exactly.
with all of this.
That's what we're gonna lose, is why everybody wants to move here. I can't tell you how many people that have come through. I had some folks from, that came for the Texas A&M Gator game. They came from Texas and stayed. Just had some people from Canada stay. And they all say the same thing. It's amazing, it's a gem, it's unique, it's unbelievable. But if you let that go and you don't protect that and you don't advocate for that and you don't fight for it, once it's gone, you are never getting it back.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, the traffic definitely has picked up, and I guess what we have to do is try to get some data, something that supports our position on it versus just talking about it. I do know the direction, the way the road is gonna change there at 21 heading north. On the corner where China Put thing is, we're getting ready to select the bid to have that taken down early next year. We're on the list, I think, in April to look at where we are in the pecking order with Florida Department of Transportation to come in and change the direction, the way that traffic is gonna work there. The parking area will become a lane for turn lane. The parking that's in front of that area right there from the corner all the way to Clyde's, I believe, will become a solid turn lane turning right, okay? Right now, you see cars kind of parking it, and then they slip in, right there in front of Gibson Guns, all of that's gonna go away. The parking is gonna be added behind the new corner as it's created where the welcome sign is. So there will be nobody being able to turn in that little sideway to go to that ice chest there to the right. That's gonna be closed off. It's gonna be a wider lane and wider for them to make the turn and for the traffic flow to be better with these trucks. And I don't know if they're gonna address the other three corners or not, what they're gonna do.
Easier for the traffic.
Right.
Well, right now though, they pull in and if they're trying to make a turn, somebody's jutted out too far, they can't make the turn because it's not big enough. So they're gonna recreate that intersection because of the number of accidents that they monitor just in I think it was 2023, the study was done. So that's what's dictating them spending the money to do what they're gonna do there. So, you know, I think it'll ease the flow, because I know we come in there, and you're right, it's busy all the time now, it seems like, when I go at different times of the day.
But if
And
the
it is
trucks
something
were
we should look
taken
at.
off, if those semis, and I'm not talking about just service trucks,
No, I know
those
semis, yeah.
semis were taken off this section
Yeah.
and had to be routed down 8th Avenue, it would eliminate the problem because they could get right back on to State Road 21 going north if they wanted to,
Yeah.
and they could be on 100 if they wanted to.
And that,
So
yeah.
that would, that road is straight. So there's no curves and going around lakes and all of
So I'll
this.
add that, you know, we're in the middle of strategic planning right now, and so it's gonna be going on for some time, but I'll add that to the list, because infrastructure is on the list, okay, for us to be looking at. You know, strategic planning hasn't been done here in a while, so it's quite varied, but definitely infrastructure is part of it.
And
So,
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, the strategic planning though, I don't think there's nothing wrong with strategic planning to keep your city a certain size and only amenable to certain things. Like to me, strategic planning doesn't mean that we make it easier for tractor trailers to come through.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we don't do a curve or a turn lane. I'm saying that Strategic planning, though, is the plan that we're not gonna have tractor trailers.
Well, I'm
You
saying
know
I'll
what I
add that
mean?
to the
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I'm just saying it's one of the buckets.
Yeah.
And there's a variety of things already under that bucket. So that's something we can add to that bucket and put some focus on it and put somebody to look into what are our options. What can we do as a city to try to get to what we're trying to get? Who do we have to go through? Who do we have to talk to? I don't know. I have no idea.
Does DOT, when they do studies, and sorry about being so ignorant on this, but can they, when they do studies of, say, how many cars are going by
Yes.
per hour
Yes.
or what?
That's why they're supporting us on this corner.
Is there a way for them to denote if it's a tractor trailer based on the length of the vehicle and how long it takes them to get by? Is the data, like the technology, sophisticated enough to go, okay, that was a single car versus this is a semi?
So when they did the traffic study, it was all because of the increase in accidents over the previous 2 years. And the study was all in our archives of our city meetings that was presented back in January of this year. The very extensive study they did is in those documents. And so what they did, I think, is spent 48 hours at that intersection and visualized the vehicles that went through, comparing it to the 2 years prior. And there was such an increase in accidents is why they decided that we need to fix this intersection. So they put it into the county plan for the TPO to support it. So I'm sure they could characterize trucks. I don't know. I wasn't part of that. It was a county-driven effort. But, you know, it's a good question to ask. You know, we do have contacts who work there who could talk to us about it. We do have the guy who presented who we could probably ask. I mean, I could ask him about it. But, you know, I hear what you're saying. I agree. And we all want to protect that because if it goes, it's gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we just have to figure out, you saw what happened in Stark. They just went and did a whole bypass.
Oh, that's.
Yeah,
that's
right.
And it's a little crazy the way it went. I'm sure it cost millions of dollars, I can imagine. But I think that we just have to kind of look at it and see what our options
Well, I don't
are.
think
That
we
was
need to
also
do a
driven by the
bypass when we've
DOT.
got it.
That was also driven by the FDOT. That
What's that?
bypass. That
Oh, was
bypass
it?
was also driven by the
Was it?
FDOT,
Yeah.
so that emergency vehicles wouldn't have to stop at the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just this, you know, a similar thing like, oh, they're gonna give us the funding to do this. Well, you know, do we really want the funding to do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta weigh that.
The guy who did our study on the corner, I've got his name and his information, so I can reach out to him and just get some input from him, ask him about ideas, you know, what do other towns do?
Well, I think that corner idea is really great because what it does is one of the problems that we have right now with that corner, and like you said, the semi's not being able to make that turn if another car is sticking out. But aside from that problem, there's a backlog problem. When you can't turn, even if one vehicle can't turn, it creates backup all the way down the street.
Right.
And that just adds more to the traffic and time it takes you to get from here to there.
Right.
And that's gonna solve that issue.
Well, I know in Lake City, they do have that little road that you, when you're coming in on, is it 16? I'm trying to remember. No, 90. When you come in on 90, and it has that little road that says truck route
Yeah.
to bypass their.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
8th Avenue.
So, and so, you know, I mean, I can reach out to some of these other mayors in these other cities and ask them what their ordinances are. You know, how do they go about doing that?
And 8th Avenue is already wide enough, it's already, you know, and it goes, but they would have to put then a light there, but a light is necessary at that RV on 100 anyway.
Yeah, so see,
At
that's
this
Bradford
point.
County.
Yes, it's Bradford
I
County.
know where you're
So,
talking.
there's not much we can do about that.
You're talking
Yeah,
for
right.
people coming in from.
No
that
way they
right?
would take that route. The trucks would never take that route.
I mean,
It's so
if they
windy.
had to, they would.
I know, but it's
Or
really windy.
even better,
There is a
they
one
would
tree that
decide
people
not to come
continually
this way
do.
at all. They would find
Stay on
another.
26.
Yeah.
Stay
I
on
mean-
26 all the way to 100 and come out
Yeah.
that way.
And that's the goal, like.
But some other way.
Encourage them to make it hard enough, encourage them to go a different way.
Well, this is, the reason why we have this problem is because Keystone was here before the roads were. You know, 21 was not here. We had the little military road, but as far as going to going to Middleburg, you didn't go that way. You actually had to go to Stark and around, so.
From this far. Go, cut it Stark, go the other way, doesn't matter. I mean,
Stay on 100,
yeah.
stay on 100, and on 26 coming from Gainesville, stay on 26,
Right.
all the way back out to 100, and then make,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
all right. High noon.
Okay, and we do have a workshop, so meeting adjourned